Mhm, mhm. Jay Massey is a full-time real estate investor. He's an entrepreneur.
He also teaches people how to find deals, raise capital for real estate investments.
Meeting Jay Massey in person, you'd think he's just a regular guy. He's got jeans and a t-shirt on and a pair of sneakers. But he's built up a multi-million-dollar empire.
I hope you do have an empty notebook because it's going home filled.
Jay gives back so much value that I've never seen.
Now, at this moment, when I'm looking at the kitchen, things are going through my head.
You want to be friends with him, and he treats you like you're the only person in the room, even though it's for the benefit of everybody.
This is how, when you ask yourself, how does Jay do it? This is how.
He tells people that they have to take action, and they have to take action now. I took the action, and the results have paid off.
What happens when the marketplace understands who we are and how we go out there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, hello, everyone. How are you doing? Hopefully things are going well. We have been working diligently. And for those of you who look closely, if my eyes look like crazy red, it's because I've been up replacing the computer and it took a lot of time. So if you can imagine reconfiguring an entire computer and all the things, now you know what I've been doing. And it seems as though I got the camera just a tad off the angle. So we're going to just deal with that today because it is what it is. For those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Hi, my name is Jay, CEO of CashFlowDiary. I am glad that you are here. Often, though, when we get to catch up, we are able to talk about a number of different things. As the CEO of CashFlowDiary, what we do is, well, we help you build cash flow. That's our goal. That's what we do. That's what we care about. And we want to do our best to be able to bring that to you in all the formats and fun. We've had the privilege of doing so for quite some time. And if this is your first time here, do us a favor. Go ahead and type new in the chat. That's N-E-W, new in the chat, because we would definitely want to welcome you, or at least I do. Many of you today, feel free to be typing questions that are going to be business, real estate, or, honestly, I don't care. Just type questions in the chat, and that would be great today. I've got some things that I want to talk to you about specifically as it relates to your past and pain and ultimately what can become your purpose, but what I love to call your superhero power. And most importantly, how that relates to your ability to actually get business done. So we're definitely going to be talking about that. Again, for those of you who are new, just so that you know, if you see people in the chat typing the word cash flow, it's because we have 2 decks of cards. One deck is for the individuals and over there on YouTube. And for those who are on Facebook, every time you type the word cash flow, what happens is I grab one of these cards and read the question and answer it. And what's interesting is that the cards are very random, aka they reveal things about me that I don't even know, because no one's ever asked such a strange or off the wall question before. But if that's something that you are interested in or get interested in, feel free. Just type cash flow in the chat and we will take care of it from there. Now, also want to let you know, we've been going live every day in the month of August, and you may now just be catching up, but you want to get what about all the others? Because it's very possible and highly probable, in fact, that I'm going to make reference to one of the prior sessions that we did earlier. And when I do that, you might think, well, how do I get that one? Well, all you got to do is go to cashflowdiary.com/live. Again, that's cashflowdiary.com/live. And what'll happen is that you'll be able to get the prior ones, which we think would be helpful. If you think that'll be helpful for yourself, then by all means, go do that. And then, yes, for those of you who have been emailing and asking questions and wondering about the short-term rental world, yes, we are still in the process of delivering the live training that we have been doing. You can go to cashflowdiary.com/learn live. And register for that. It's the next session starts at noon Pacific time. All right. With that being said, I'm gonna hop in the chat, do a couple of quick welcomes. But what I would love to hear from any of you or all of you, if you will, give me something that in your mind, specifically something that is in your mind in regards to maybe a previous pain, something in your past that has or is in the way of you being able, there we go, being able to produce better results, more results, aka get your business off the ground and make it go. Whatever you think that is, no wrong answers, obviously. So I would be crazy curious to hear what some of you guys say, and because I want to read those as I go through here and begin to welcome a few more of our new individuals. Okay. Woo! Let's go back to the beginning. Let's see what we got. Where are we? Whoa, lots of them. I like it. I appreciate it. Hey, I see LaShawn. How are you? Thanks for being here. So yes, absolutely. And then Anisha, I am not familiar with you, so I'm assuming you're new, but maybe you're not, and I'm just now noticing your name. Sorry. Either way it goes, welcome. Glad that you are here. Arthur, how are you? Glad that you are here. And again, for those of you who are in the Facebook group, you probably have a link above the video in and of itself. That's why your name doesn't appear like that, or appears like that. And yes, Jeremy is here. The cost of silence, no doubt. That's kind of funny considering what we talked about yesterday. And it's also known as new computer, and realizing, oh, it didn't do what I thought it did. Hey, Jamila, how are you? But hopefully we're done with the freezing. Definitely got the RAM done with the freezing. Now it's just a matter of getting the rest of the area straightened up as much as we possibly can. Let's see, now a clock. I love it. Absolutely. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Ah, there we go. What does this say? Never give up. Yes. No, I'm not going to. Yes, you were on the right link, Jamila. I was intending on starting. I had everything to go, or at least I thought I had everything to go. And then new computer problems because I just didn't configure the audio properly. And then I got a whole bunch of messages. You couldn't hear anything. So it is what it is. Ontario, California in the house. Welcome. Glad to have you. What do y'all think? Yes, I did. I am playing music from a completely different area right now. So hopefully that's good. Let me see. Go, go, go. That shirt seems to fit the scene. Oh, yes. Okay. One of the things, if this is like your first time here, one of the things that some people actually show up for is they're wondering, hey, what shirt is he wearing today? And this one, yes, it was chosen intentionally, but not because of that reason. But it just simply says, you may see me struggle, but you will never see me quit. And I think there's a lot of you who can relate to that sentiment, to that feeling, to understanding where the thought process behind that. And yes, it has a lot to do with what I was asking you to type into the chat as it relates to your pain and the past, because I believe that some of that could be the thing that's helping. Well, not helping, but it's in the way. It's stopping you from becoming the best version of you. And I'm hoping to be able to give you a way to process some of that pain so that it can become a source of power, I guess is the best way of saying it. So we're definitely going to talk about that. Mary is excited about this shirt too. I love it. Oh, man. Camera is, Lorraine, you have no idea. If the camera being a tad off tilter is the only thing that we got to deal with right now, I'm going to take it. That's just where it is. But I agree with you. It's beyond a tad off tilter. You have no, I'm going to fix it, but man, it would take too long right now. Anyway, LaShawn is starting with a cash flow question. What would be the absolute, oh my God, I have been afraid of a question like this because, okay, all right, I will tell you, I have actually, this is really, no joke, no lie. This is really the question or yeah, this is actually something I was hoping wouldn't come up. Anyway, it says, what would be the absolute worst, as in worst, name you could give your child? Okay, so although this is probably the only time in American history where I could actually say something like this. And yes, I'm aware that it's bad, okay? But I'm also transparent and tell you guys everything. There was a time, especially back in Memphis, where I had this idea that I thought it would be wonderful. Okay, it's bad, all right? You're not gonna like any of this. But I had this idea. I was like, you know what? If I have a son, I'm going to name him Master, just so white people have to call him Master. Yep. That was the thought. I know, horrible and transparent, but needless to say, my son's name is not Master. Okay. So I'm good there. Gonna keep moving on. Oh, these questions, man. They are some of the strangest things nonetheless. Okay. All of a sudden, busy day with babysitter and her friend, double dating a couple. So I'm missing Friday masterclass. It's okay. It happens. Germania. Yeah, that would be bad. Jeremy, I have enough trouble with my name. Most people can't even come close to that. All right. So when it comes down, I see. We're talking about, you guys are sharing some of the things that you were talking about. Okay, got it. So it's trust issues, real estate agents, handyman managers. All right, cool. So Jamila, if I'm interpreting this correctly, what you're suggesting or what you're offering is this is what's been in my way. Trust issues, real estate agents, handyman and managers. I like the trust issues one because that's there. The people are usually not it. Although they may be the physical manifestation or realization of something, that they represent many different things in various different ways. Nonetheless, I would go with the trust issue. So we're going to definitely, okay, I got where you're coming from. Hopefully that's there. Let's see. Lorraine says lack of confidence. Interesting. We'll see. So yeah, I get that one too. A lack of confidence, and rightly or wrongly, I think a lot of us have that, but it manifests itself in various different ways. How are you? You're actually asking me that? I don't know what's going on there. Moving on. 2 houses I got lost short term. You had a permit and they pulled it, or they took it away. I wonder what that's about. That's actually one of the things that has in the back of my mind that has been going through for some of the geographic locations, like when they have the whole permit situation, like what form of retaliation, could possibly occur. Now, I'm not saying that happened in your case. I'm just, again, admitting what's been on the top of my mind. Like, if you make the wrong neighbor mad, but he or she happens to be connected to this, you know what I'm saying? That is definitely one of those things that I was thinking about for sure. Yes. Hey, Sandy. Okay, got it. I'm gonna get you, Sandy. Don't let me forget. All right. I want to talk about the past. Well, not really, but I want to talk about processing the past. I want to talk about giving you something that I know has helped me to be able to get to the other side, to the future. For me, in this particular way, one of the many things that occurs, whatever, you know what I'm saying, was simply that when we were, getting started, so to speak, all of the things that continued to happen, or at least it felt like were constantly happening, between my wife getting sick and me puncturing my lung and being unable to eat or drink, and she being unable to walk and talk simultaneously. Just all of the things that were happening, it felt like they were happening all at once. And it felt like those were the things that were in the way. If the circumstances would just get better, then therefore, I could possibly make some progress. Ultimately, what I came across is a book, many books, obviously the Bible, and there was also a book that is actually free, and I'm gonna, let me share that with you guys now before I forget. It's called the Science of Getting Rich, Getting Rich, by Wallace D. Wattles. And let me see if it's set up if the new way is set up properly, then you're about to see the screen. Oh, look, we're getting there. So it's Wallace D. Wattles, although it's really tiny. Let's do this. There we go. I don't know that one's better. So it's The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. And there was at the beginning of that particular book. So to explain, I was doing the audiobook, but at the beginning or one of the beginning chapters, the author speaks about very specifically that there is no work that man shrinks from except sustained thought, actually thinking a particular thing. And it's kind of true. What do I mean by that? Taking intentional control over what it is you are thinking. Oh, thanks, darling. Can you do me a favor? Can you turn that down or off or what have you? And I don't need the bag. I need you just handed me a bag, but I need the coffee actually. Here. If you could do that, turn that down and just actually hand me the coffee. I don't know. If I knew that, that's what I would do. Thank you, though. I didn't know where it was. Anyway, and how are you guys doing with the whole kids at home thing? Wow, that was really loud. But thank you. Thanks. It's okay. Oh man, I don't. The truth be told, I kind of like the fact that they're here, and yeah, I kind of like it. I don't know. I don't know. They're just here, so I'm sure they don't like it, but it is what it is. Anyway, The Science of Getting Rich. The author is speaking about containing, controlling your thoughts, directing them intentionally, and then naturally, it coincides with certain scriptures inside the Bible as well, to being able to take captive every thought. And I don't know why, but one of the most important things that was here for inside that particular book, or inside this book, was finally the concept, the exercise. Like the exercise occurred to me. One of the things I could do is, and for those of you who've seen some of the prior episodes, you'll know goal, plan, track. So now that I'm thinking about this, one of the things I could do is, hey, I could track how many times my thoughts get off track. And then I could go the extra step to say, wow, let me do something to put my thoughts back on track. Ultimately, what it came down to is doing some research and finding a watch-like device that could vibrate on a repeated pattern. In this case, it was every 15 minutes. And that's what I would do, is I would wear the watch, set it for 15 minutes, and every 15 minutes check in with what was I thinking about the last 15 minutes. That habit began to give me not necessarily the ability to resolve anything that happened, but to put myself in a place to where I could ignore what had happened. Hear the verb tenses right now, where I could ignore what had happened long enough to focus on what I wanted to have happen. Does that make sense? And so that it wouldn't distract me during the day, during the work time. And that began to help me get distant from it, which was one of the first things I needed anyway. Because when you're, so that we're clear, the reason this was really, really paramount is because at this time, in order to build our business, I was doing anything I could. So I was passing out flyers at night because I couldn't do it during the day. Wife's in the hospital. Anyway, a lot of stuff. So I was passing out flyers at night. Well, to make the flyers, they were being printed at Kinko's because that's the best I could do. They were printing 6 on a page, and I had to cut them myself. Eventually, I got enough money to where Kinko's could cut them for me. That began to make it easier. Yay. And what I would do is I would be passing out flyers on cars from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning. Now, with that being said, yes, what does that mean? That means that I'm black guy, walking around neighborhood, 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., passing out flyers. More than one occasion, many cars or cops were following me, just wondering, like, what is he doing? And I just had to do my best, just kept pressing forward to continually not be focused on what was right there, so that I could keep in my mind what I was trying to do was generate leads and put us in a completely different situation. Because see, at the time we were squatting a bank-owned property, credit scores 398. There was lots of things that were not perfect yet. And I say this to say that for many of you right now, there are lots of things that are not perfect. And part of what's required is being able to set those things aside for a specific period of time so you can do the activities that have a shot at producing, in some cases, greater revenue, right? And again, you guys know, I just think everybody should build a business, right? And build cash flow, I should say, very, very specifically. This was one of the resources that began to help me with that. I wanted to offer it to you because, again, there are a number of things that maybe you have experienced, and maybe you've, like the shirt, felt like quitting. And maybe for a time you did. In fact, I will say this, I've quit more than all of you. I just also get back up and restart, right? 'Cause I have a different shirt that says something to the effect of, when you feel like quitting, remember why you wanted to start, or something like that. Anyway, and learning that for me has been a part of the process is made it okay. Because sometimes when you are setting out to do a thing, you may think that you've got to do the thing perfectly, consistently, without fail, always be positive, put on that stiff upper lip, etc., or whatever else. And again, forgive some of the expressions. I grew up overseas. Just go with that. Either way it goes, my point is simple. Because you have agency, because you can learn and develop the skill of directing your thoughts in this particular case, you can choose to direct them someone else or to a completely different direction, which in this case doesn't forgive, doesn't forget, doesn't mean whatever is happening, whatever is in the way, whatever the someone mentioned trust issues that occurred, doesn't mean they're not present. But right now, they're not serving you to be able to take that next step. Because I definitely can relate to the whole trust issues thing, and because it had to be rebuilt over time. Specifically in my case, Jamila, what happened is that there was a gentleman who I was doing business with. Really long story short, he embezzled $800,000. Well, the amount we could prove in court was $800,000. It was more than that, but whatever. And learning to deal with that blow was not fun, not easy, not desirable, not something I ever anticipated. And I definitely never expected it to happen. Not only did I not expect it to happen to me, like no one would do that to me. Why would they? I'm helping you. I'm bringing you business. Why would you do that? But also learning that many wounds, although severe, they're not fatal. And ultimately, there are times that things that have happened to us, each of us in the past, that they now become part of your power, or what I like to often call your superhero power. On the podcast, you'll hear me mention, superheroes and power and things of that nature. My wife is responsible for introducing me to Marvel. I did not grow up with DC, Marvel, that type of thing. And in case you're wondering, I did see comic books when in Germany. It's just that my favorite comic book was Archie. Yes, I know. I said it out loud. Yep. And I like the Care Bears a lot too, because, people would record that and send it over. I know. Anyway, moving on. Those things in the past, though, can then become the very stepping stones that give you the power, that power to make you better, that power that make you worth listening to, that power that gives you the probability, capability, possibilities of being able to help someone else past whatever the roadblock is that they themselves have. Now, during the time you're going through it, you don't care about any of that. It's not something, and in fact, you can feel lost. But being able to come up with mechanisms and devices that help to process it, in the sense of not necessarily process it, but to push past it so that you can still go do a thing. Because the one thing you don't want is the compound interest effect, if you will. Like, this is the problem, and because of this, I can't then do this, and I don't do this, and I don't do this. So Jamila, here's what I'm hoping to hear and see from you, because you mentioned, I think, two different problems between the trust issues and the what's it called? The permit, right? I don't know what's going on with the permit. I ain't got a clue. But both of them, either issue, all mean go get more units. That's what it means to me. Now, maybe it means go get more units in a different geographic location. Maybe it means go fight for the units you currently have in some way, shape, or form. Or maybe it means go get more units, create more cash flow for you, for your family in some way, shape, or form. Please. However, I just don't want you to let that then become the thing that slows down any momentum that you may have built. You can still build momentum with certain things as weights. And the more I think about it, I get a little excited, not overly excited. oftentimes, the things that are intended to slow you down, keep you down, become the things that actually make you stronger, right? Because and what's interesting to me is that sometimes those who intended something to actually be the thing that keep you back, whether they realize it or not, it becomes the very thing that they then become afraid of later. Meaning, if you've been swimming and running and dodging and working and building a business with a ton of weights on, and you begin to gain ground, even though you've got the weights on, the one thing that that others can get challenged by is what happens if the weights come off. Oh no, that might be something. So, well, we can't have that, in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not saying the weights belonged there in the first place, but I am saying that the past has a purpose, even though it doesn't feel like it. And it's because that we had a credit score of 398. It's because that we were squatting in a bank-owned property. It's because all of that was going down literally like the day before Valentine's Day. It's because my wife and I taught each other, we taught our what loyalty means in situations like that. It's because, of all of those things that creates this desire within me and within CashFlow Diary to serve all of you. Because those are all things that occurred, and yet now they have a purpose. It didn't feel like it at the time. The weights never do. The past never does. But being able to have a process with which I could then still keep moving forward. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like I had processed the information, but it was no longer the thing that it was. I could move my mind around it so that I could still go do the next thing, right? And which is part of the next thing that I need to do, even today, because I have not produced a new podcast episode since the middle of this pandemic, because it's been challenging. Well, actually, it's probably since the whole George Floyd thing, somewhere in there. Anyway, it's been a while, and I know that. And I know what's been in front of me is how it feels, how positive, and all this other stuff that goes through my mind, heart, and all this other stuff that it's like, it's hard to be in that position. It's another way of just saying, Jamila, the techniques and the muscles that you're building now, I think will continue to serve you in many different ways. But a change of perspective is what helped me. So maybe that helps you. Now, the next thing that I want to give you is more akin to something that Lorraine was mentioning, because she had mentioned a lack of confidence. And again, I don't even know if he's watching today, the guy that I'm going to reference, but it's possible. It's definitely possible. So we're gonna hit that in just a moment. All right. So, where did this thing? Okay, got it. I'm just scrolling, seeing what you guys are saying through this as well, because you're having definitely an experience of sorts with us today. All right. Oh, okay. Someone was talking to private lenders. I know we're offering solutions, but it feels like begging for money, which conflicts with my core beliefs. Yes, when it comes to raising capital, now, if you want, and again, we just covered what the process is when it comes to raising capital inside of the 5-day training. So I don't know if you've been participating in that, or if you've got access to the replays or any of that, but you probably want to go get it. So go to cashflowdiary.com/learn live. You'll be able to pick those up. So that should be great. And then what does it say? Specifically, lack of confidence to operate a successful hospitality business. Totally understood. And I want to address that head on, because girlfriend, like, I don't even know you, like, girlfriend. Anyway, I have told so many people, which I think is hilarious. In fact, my wife and I, when we were first considering it, we were like, Yeah. It was a conscious cognitive dissonance going on. My own daughter will even tell you. In fact, she's the one who coined this phrase with me. She's like, Dad, you don't people well. And I find it highly ironic that it's a hospitality business. Right? It's like, yeah. And you're what you're also hinting at is you may have discovered, like me, that you're not the best manager. Maybe you're a great visionary. Maybe you're a great starter. But the management piece is like, got it. Totally got you. And I want to give you some stuff on that in just a moment. Jay needs coffee. Yes, I got it. It's here finally. But you saw that. So that's good. And what's Yikes makes my 300K. Sorry, loss. Yeah, no problem. And Jamila, just for fun, so that you know, the 800 wasn't the only time. Later, it was 400. So together. In fact, there's a video somewhere floating around where I made a video of like my top 30 mistakes and how much they've cost. Yeah. Anyway. Oh yes, that's right. Care Bears and Archie. See, you didn't know that. You would have never guessed it. I know. But that's just me. So when it comes down to it though, when we're talking about things like confidence or a lack thereof, is it really confidence, or are you saying that you have a lack of experience? So that's really what it comes. That's my first question. And then remember what I said earlier, that we have an addiction to looking good. So which means we cannot learn and look good simultaneously. We're resistant to it. In fact, we have been trained to not be willing to put forth failure, period. We don't even want to attempt until we know we have the right answer, right? So no wonder you feel this way. You don't even want to attempt until you know you have the right answer. And how will you know the right answer if you don't attempt? And how will you ever feel confident? How did you get confident walking? You don't remember, but it's because you fell a lot, right? And like oh man, sorry, I just remembered something that I haven't been able to do since the pandemic started. There's a friend of mine, his name's John. He's on Facebook somewhere. He goes rock climbing, indoor rock climbing a lot. And I was able to go a couple of times. And that was just really great for me from a mental standpoint. And I was just thinking about it because one of the things that, being tall, I'm not a compact person, which makes rock climbing that much harder because, geometry, physics, etc., which is part of the puzzle and fun, at least for my brain. And one of the things I needed to do while there, even on the easiest of walls and trails, was let myself fall, like literally intentionally fall off of the wall, right? Because it was challenging to keep pushing forward, going higher, right? And knowing that even with the ropes and everything, safety, nothing was good. It wasn't like, I wasn't gonna die, wasn't gonna nothing, but it was still hard to do. It was in my way. The concept of falling off of a wall was in my way of climbing it with a rope and letting myself intentionally come off the wall to experience the failure was freeing, was the thing that helped me learn to keep going up faster. Does that make sense? And yet, when we wonder, we have this expectation like I should have the confidence. Why? Why should you? That is built slowly. That is built over time. Anyway, here's where I was going with the whole confidence thing, because a friend of mine, his name is James, something he taught me in dealing with a lot of these things from the past. It's very simple. He asks a very simple question. Hey, like when you are feeling that lack of confidence feeling, just simply ask yourself, when was the first time you can remember feeling this way? And oftentimes what I've discovered is that whatever I might be feeling in the present is actually connected to something that happened a long time ago that I've probably forgotten about, but somewhere I just made this connection between those things, and those two things have always been connected. And therefore, when something triggers and it reminds me of that same thing, that's what I feel and react this way. This is, and again, I know you're tired of the cash flow quadrant, but you got to understand it's how you're responding to these stimulus and the decisions that you're making that make the difference. And it's learning to make different decisions, or decisions that are different than the quadrant you're currently in, that ultimately result in your ability to produce something different. And that's what he was saying by asking, hey, the first time, can you remember the first time? So can you remember the first time you felt that way? You know, and what that situation was like and what happened and all of those things. And because there's usually a reason, usually we were somehow powerless or unable to affect change at that time, but likely we are different. You have grown, you have changed, have more agency, and you can now do something about it. Even if doing something about it simply means I am now willing to fail, if that makes sense, or do what others consider to be a failure or failure event, because we will conflate the two, a failure event to being I am a failure, which is not true. And learning to put yourself in an environment where not only is failure okay, acknowledged, it's celebrated. I love when our individuals that we get to work with tell me things that they tried that didn't work. Because one, it tells me that you're trying, because that's good. And the fact that it didn't work, but you're still asking is perfect, because it means, and I haven't given up yet. See, you may see me struggle, but you won't see me quit. The struggle is a part of the process. Now, maybe you've not had the environment that has allowed you to struggle. Understood. And maybe you tell yourself things like, hey, I've got kids, I can't do that. No, you want to know who needs to see you kind of struggle the most? Because they're struggling. They do. And you just never know on the other end. So anyway, like I said, I wanted to submit those things because pain, past, in context, can become powerful, dare I say, your superhero power, which is why I wanted to make sure that I said something about them before all of this LEDA stuff is done. LEDA being live every day, for those of you wondering, like, what's that? So which reminds me to remind you that, yes, we will be going live again tomorrow. Tomorrow, I believe, is actually an interview. I don't actually know who at this moment. So we've been on Saturdays, we've been actually interviewing some existing short-term rental operators, how they're building cash flow in their geographic area. So there will be a surprise for us both there. And then as a reminder, for those of you who want to take the idea, the concepts further, and more importantly, in a tangible way. And even though if you don't have the confidence, let us have the confidence for you, especially right now. And take one step. That's all you got to do. Just like I took one step and had the watch that buzzed every 15 minutes so that I could begin a new thing. And that was my goal plan track. That was my accountability, and it works because you can control what you're thinking about. And many of us think we're thinking. Sit with that one for a moment, and you don't even realize that you're not. So, with that being said, just for those of you who are wondering, just make sure that if you want to join us at noon, by all means, do so. CashFlowDiary.com/learn live. And I definitely hope to see you there. Let me cover through some of these last comments before we're done, because I want to see how Jamila and Lorraine are feeling doing. This one is good too. I'm not sure what that is in reference to, William, but thanks for sharing. Let's see. Metaphor, whichever one it is, PhD, no PhD, right. Well, hey, it is what it is. Rock climbing sounds fun, but I love the analogy. Yes. I thought it was one of the most mentally engaging things from a sport that I think I've ever done. Like it was something different. It was one of those few times where I was able to tap into something and literally lose track of time. I was not present. I don't know what time it was. I don't know how long I was there. I don't really care. It was great. But it was stressful until I fell off, just fall off, right? That's just what I had to do. Is who's tomorrow? Oh, it's Dante. Yes, perfect. I can't wait. I've got some of these questions for you now, mister. Let's go. That's been going. This is going to be great. I took the leap of faith yesterday. Excellent. That's good. And here's what I will say, Lorraine. When you do that, first of all, congratulations. Also understand that now that you have stated a belief, like, oh my God, I'm going to go do this. What we've got to do right now is begin to build small little table legs under each of them. Let's begin to build a body of evidence that says you do believe this, right? Because many times we can start something. Yeah, you bought the thing, you began, but did you do the work? Right? Did in the short-term rental world, did you begin building out your avatar, that profile, if you will, for the customer it is that you want to serve? Have you done that? Are you doing that? For those of you who've been in the training, you've had a number of things to do. We've given you the scripts, what to say, all this stuff. Are you doing those steps? That is literally the next step, even though it feels like, but wait, don't I need this first? No, go do this thing. Go do this thing right now, right? There's a book out there called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, which may be of assistance to you right now, Lorraine, because being able to consume information and then take action on that information back and forth, man, it's everything. And it's how I've been able to process many things, because I try to, when learning something new, I try to use it within 24 to 48 hours, at least once. Just try it on, taste it, right? It's like a well-done steak with ketchup. Now, some of you caught what that is all in reference to. Oh my goodness. Pain is past, and pain is displaying my struggle and losing. And it is not. And it is not. It is learning from you. Thank you. You can't look good and learn at the same time. That is correct. Where's the video at? I'm not sure which video. Oh, you're talking about the video with all the mistakes. That's a good question. I don't know. I'll see if I could dig that one up. I don't think it's actually on YouTube, but I know it's like a 30-minute video where I forgot the number. I literally go through like all the mistakes and total up how much each one cost. It's a gross number. I promise you. It's really gross. But oh well, it is what it is. Let's see. Keep going. Yep. And hey, see, look, Jeremy's congratulating. So this is good. Lasan, thank you for touching on this. Past and pal, you're welcome. Now I understand. Well, I was like, maybe I missed it. Now I understand. Got it. The Slight Edge is a great one. Yes, absolutely. The other book I was mentioning is called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, Jefffolson. And it, the most important thing to understand, I guess I think I talked about it. I don't know. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. It bears repeating. Walmart is one of the most efficient companies with their inventory, because they developed what they call just-in-time inventory. And I say, develop a habit of just-in-time learning. I'm not saying there aren't things that you don't need to know to complete the process, but do you need to know it right now? Probably not. And you can take action on what you do know, which is where Jeff Olson comes into play, because he talks about consuming some, there's a theory and then there's the lab. There's the theory and the lab. And that's why I wish we called more businesses practices, because that's what it is. It's okay to practice. Oh, great. No problem. I'm supposed to fail at practice. So go, because that's how you're going to learn these skills. And for knowledge workers, which is what we are, there's a lot of the skills that are mental and definitely emotional. Your emotional intelligence must go up, period. It's not just about being smart. Your interpersonal intelligence must also increase, as well as intrapersonal intelligence must also increase if you're going to be a knowledge worker, which we are. So those are the things that have to get practiced, and you're not going to get all of the situations right. But just like when rock climbing, if you've got all of the safety things around you, what are you really risking, right? And that's one of the things. So I appreciate you joining and all, but now go risks so that when you, and I know it sounds crazy, but I'm hoping you choose to do something and fall within the next 24 or 48 hours so that you can experience being caught. That's going to help you to then do it again and do it again and do it again. Because so many of us have risked and then we weren't caught. And we just think that's going to happen again. I hear you, though. I hear you 1000%. All right. Robin, last question here is all about the cash flow right now. What? Okay. Okay. If you could marry a fictional character, who would it be? Okay. Marry a fictional character. I first have to think of a fictional character. So that's number one. But I will say this. Characters from the movie The Matrix are what's going through my head right now. Yeah. Jada Pinkett. What was her character's name? She went in The Matrix, right? That'll work. I'm now done. Or Storm. That would be cool. Sorry, Marvel. That just came out of nowhere. My wife reminds me of Storm. Anyway, either way, moving on. That was, like I said, strange questions. But hey, I committed to, getting through them and doing it. So hopefully you've learned some additional strange things that somehow benefit and help you as well. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we'll be back tomorrow. We've got interviews. It looks like we have two individuals, Dante and Delisha. They are in different parts of the world geography-wise. So it'll be interesting to hear their stories and understand how they're out there building cash flow, because cash flow is what it takes for you to make it. Let me say that again. Even if you think you have a great job right now, $200,000, $300,000, $500,000, but you're still W-2, you're in trouble. I hope that something that we have shared has helped you already. And if not, feel free to join us at noon today, where we will be sharing more details as it relates to short-term rentals, the business, and how it works. Just go over to cashflowdiary.com/learn live. Again, that's cashflowdiary.com/learn live. And when you're there, make sure you join the Facebook group where the presentations and information is going to be. We do have a lot of the materials there to help you get caught up, as well as your workbook. And here's what's exciting. I know that on the other side of that particular decision is a new world. It's a world that we get to introduce you to, and it would be our pleasure to do so. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun talking to you guys today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.
you.